Chiron, healing our wounds. Um, so we're going to talk about, oh, you have an 8th house stellium? Excellent. Excellent. Yes. You're all about getting down deep in the psychology of things and understanding and discovering and unearthing. And you're not afraid to go there. You're not afraid to go into spaces, places that other people fear going because it's too psychologically heavy. However, you have an 8th house stellium. You're just drawn to that. Like you couldn't even get away from that thing if you wanted to. Yeah. Yeah, you couldn't have detached from that if you wanted to. So, my Chiron actually in my natal chart is in the 9th house. It's in the 9th house, and how it resonated with me natally had everything to do with religion and spirituality. You know, I tell people all the time that I grew up. I was baptized in the Baptist church at 4 years old. You know, went to Sunday school, was in the choir, was on the usher board. Everything that could be done in church, I was doing in church. And as I grew older, I noticed that I didn't have a connection to church. And later coming to find out I didn't have a connection to religion was what it really was. And for years I would, you know, go to church faithfully and in hopes of having the experience that I saw other people having, you know. Exactly, you know. So I was going to church wanting, you know, hoping every time I stepped foot in church that I would have the experience that everyone was having. Now, don't get me wrong, I had a connection with it, but I think what the connection for me was the congregating of people. I saw church as a time for people to come together, and if not for one day out of the week, we were on the same accord. You know, well, in hopes that we were all on the same accord, but we were gathering for the same reason. So I think I connected more with the gathering of people together was one thing that I connected with. And another thing that I always say I attribute to religion and how I am with my spirituality is religion and the church taught me discipline in my beliefs. Yeah, you can understand that feeling of fellowship. Especially with being a Cancer sun, it is all about family dynamics with us. So for us to come together, it felt like family coming together. Had nothing, for me, it had nothing to do with church, the doctrine, any of that. It was the fellowship and the family type feel that it gave to it. And I always also enjoyed a beautiful choir, because I love music. I find messages in music. I find comfort in music. I find happiness in music. Yes, just the fellowship. So that was one of the connections for me. But again, one of the biggest lessons that I was taught was discipline in my faith. I will always say that I learned to be disciplined in my beliefs that I have now from the Baptist church and my upbringing in church. So I would never take anything away from my upbringing in church, because foundationally, it gave me the foundation that I needed to be where I am in my spiritual life now. Okay? But I wasn't connecting with the doctrine, is what I wasn't connecting with. And that's what was really hard for me. When did you notice a shift though? Okay. I knew something was wrong early on. Go back. I knew something was, I don't want to say I knew something was wrong. I knew there was a detachment or there was something not present from an early age. And I think it must have been probably early 20s, my early 20s, where I totally just detached from church. Now, I had not gotten on my spiritual path, but I had detached from church in my early 20s. So I was no longer going to church. I think I started to fall out of love with it in my teens. Yeah, about my teens, I started to, and I think I was only still going to church in my teens because it was just a routine. It was just something you did, and I felt like I had to do it. But I had already checked out emotionally and mentally in my teens. But I think the detachment of just going happened in my 20s. Again, I hadn't started on only out of force and only out of habit. It became just a habit. I think a lot of people go to church out of habit. I honestly don't think that they really go because they're getting anything. I think they just go because it's a habit. And I'm, we're cancers, we're creatures of habit. So about my early 20s, again, I detached from just going at all. I just stopped going at all. I hadn't gotten onto my spiritual path. Now, one thing that I had always done was I had always been a big manifester. Now, let me tell you something. I'm 53 years old. So I was born 1969. And I was manifesting before manifesting became this big thing that it is. It wasn't even called manifesting. We didn't have a name for it, okay? So I've been doing this thing that y'all are now calling manifesting since I was small. Like, I think I first discovered the gift I must have been about 6, 7 years old, maybe even younger than that. So this thing that y'all everybody's labels as manifesting, I've been doing that before it had a name and before it became, popular. So I was doing that. So that was definitely a part of my spiritual beginnings, and I didn't even know that was a part of my spiritual beginnings. Okay, killing it. Oh, thank you, sweetie. So I knew of that divine gift. I knew of that. Was I using it like I should? No, but I knew that was a gift that I had. I knew that. And I think probably in my late 30s, I started to gravitate towards defining my spiritual life. And it began with me realizing how unhappy I was. Wow. That's the first time I've ever said that out loud. That's crazy. That's crazy. I started to accept that I had been going through life up until my late 30s. Yeah. And I realized I was sad. I was sad. I don't know if it was depression. It may have been. But I felt like I was in a constant state of being sad. Okay. And just hit 33. So that you're at the tail end of your Saturn return. So a lot has changed for you since 29. That Saturn return window is 29 to 33. So a lot of things have changed with you and how you in all areas of your life and how you believe, what you believe in, what you thought you believed in. All of that has changed for you. And you will start to experience a lot of revelations about who you are internally. But yeah, so I finally realized I was sad. I was just sad. And I wanted to change that for myself. And one of the things I knew that had to change was I needed to carve out what I considered my faith and my spirituality. And I knew it had to be something that was personal to me. I knew it couldn't look like anything anybody else was doing. And I knew that whatever I chose to do probably would not fit into the box of what my family or friends or society says it should be. And I had to find the courage to um, pursue what resonated with me and not worry about what other people thought. Okay. Now, did that happen overnight? Absolutely not. It did not happen overnight. It was time. It was a process. It was a process. So, but once I decided that I was going to deal with that aspect, which is the Chiron in my ninth house of, of other things, my belief system, religion, and spirituality, and foreigners and cross culture, I started to look at how other cultures worshipped and what they found comfort in with regards to their faith. And we use Chiron to help us, or how we use Chiron to identify the hurt that needs to be healed. Well, sending love and light and blessings to you on this day. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I received that and I send that back to you or anyone else that needs that. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Child, I keep you posted. The Cancer in me is like, whoa, this is a lot. This is a lot. This is a lot. So Chiron, the heavenly body that helps us to heal, to identify our hurts, and helps us to address it in a way that is beneficial, in a way that needs to be, things need to be addressed. Now, Chiron is currently in the sign of Aries. And if we know anything about the attributes of Aries, we're talking about creativity, we're talking about passion, we're talking about competition, but most importantly, we're talking about going headfirst into doing something. Once Aries gets a project or gets a target or whatever this is that they want to have done, gets it in their head, they jump headfirst into it. So Chiron is in the sign of Aries, and Chiron is looking for you to face the wound head on. Okay. You can't cancel the thing, because if Chiron's in Cancer, then you would be doing this thing that Cancers do where we shuffle to the side. We don't go directly into something. We kind of like go about it in a roundabout way. We go about it in a roundabout way. So Chiron's not in Cancer, so you can't kind of like sidestep it and go in through the side door on it. Chiron's not in Virgo, so you can't analyze this thing and pick it apart and be critical with it. Chiron is in Aries, and Chiron is in, this is something that we need to tackle head on, head first, and get it done. Okay? So Chiron went into Aries actually back in 2018. So this wound that that you have been dealing with actually opened up or came into your life, or you realized it was happening back in around April 2018. Chiron stayed in Aries until about September 2018. It did a little retrograde motion where it went back in Pisces in September 2018, but it came back out and it went back into Aries February 2019, and there it is still now, and it will stay there until June 2026. So that is typically a 7-year window that Chiron gives you to deal with whatever this wound is. That's a lot of time. Chiron is very generous with helping you deal with it, because Chiron knows that, some wounds are bigger than others, some wounds are deeper than others. So it may take us a little bit of time to heal the wound. First, we got to undress it, and first we have to identify the wound. Identify the wound, diagnose the wound, and then address the wound and start the healing process is how we're going to do this with Chiron in healing our wounds. So what we're going to talk about tonight is, where is your wound? Depending on your rising sign, where is your wound? And have you identified the wound itself? And how are you going to heal this wound? And again, with it being in Aries, you're going to heal this wound head first, head on. So I'm going to give a few more minutes to get started. Of course, we're going to start at the top of the zodiac, and that's going to be with my Aries rising. So again, these, what we're going to talk about tonight is based on your rising sign. Of course, if you don't have your rising sign, you will listen for your sun sign. If you come across your rising sign at any point, later on, you can always come back and listen to the replay, because this information really, really resonates with your rising sign or your ascendant sign, okay? So, Aries rising, Aries sun. Your Chiron in Aries is in your first house. So your first house has everything to do with your physical body, your appearance, your first impression, your energy, your personality that you give off, has everything to do with where Chiron is. So the wound yourself could definitely be healing around a physical ailment, because again, the first house is the physical body. So you may, in actuality, be dealing with a physical ailment that you're dealing with, that may have come up for you, or you may have noticed back in 2018. And again, you're going to be having support from Chiron to heal your physical body up until 2026. This could also be the healing of a wound around how you show up in the world. Has your ego been bruised? Have you been wounded in the area of your self-esteem? Wounded in the area of your confidence? Wounded in the area of how people experience you? Are you going through life with a mask on and not being your true, authentic self? Chiron wants to heal whatever insecurity this is, whatever self-doubt this is, whatever this worry is you have about how you're showing up in the world and what other people think of you, healing your self-esteem, healing how you feel about yourself, healing about around how you feel about your body. Not only we're talking about your health, we're talking about your physical body. Are you grappling with or feeling in a way insecure about how you physically show up, in the world, in life? Chiron is wanting you to identify these insecurities, and we want to tackle this head first so we can get in a better space with regards to how you relate to your physical self, your health, your personality, and how you're just showing up in the world, okay? Taurus rising, Taurus sun, the Chiron in Aries is wanting to heal you in the area of things that you keep hidden. So this is the 12th house. This is the area of our traumas. This is the area of our hurts. This is the area of our healing and closure. This is the area of secrets that we keep to ourselves, about ourselves, and secrets that are kept from us. This is also the area that governs confined spaces. So that can look like hospitals, rehab centers, prisons, and also the confinement of our mind. So Chiron definitely wants you to identify, acknowledge, and address and begin the healing process of any traumas that you have experienced, okay? Traumas that you may still be holding on to, traumas that you may be blaming yourself for. Are you blaming yourself for because, you were taken advantage of? Are you trying to place blame on yourself? Had I not been in this certain place or or an area, this wouldn't have happened to me. If I hadn't worn this or that, this wouldn't have happened to me. Getting in the space of healing your traumas, your hurts, things that you've been holding on to, particularly from childhood, holding on to and not letting go, and still having shame or guilt about those areas or those experiences that you've had in your life. Because I have been learning to have more grace and compassion for myself. It's hard to, it's very, very hard. It is very, very hard. Forgiving oneself is the hardest thing to do. We can forgive other people, but forgiving ourselves is it's the hardest thing to do. And this is really with Taurus risings, the areas that Chiron wants to heal. Forgiving yourself, okay? Forgiving yourself, and mostly around forgiving yourself for allowing other people to put shame and guilt on you, that you didn't deserve or wasn't warranted. Chiron wants to come in and heal you with relation to secrets, because secrets make us sick. I heard that somewhere years ago. Our secrets will keep us sick. And the 12th house is the house of secrets. So secrets that you're holding on to, particularly secrets that you're holding on to protect someone else. These are not even secrets you're holding on to about yourself. You're keeping a secret to protect someone else. And it is killing you. And Chiron wants you to identify and let go of that, because that is not your burden to carry. So, all about the hidden spaces, the confined spaces, especially the healing of our minds. This is the time that, you want to think about getting into some therapy, whatever therapy looks like for you, but healing your mind and healing of the relationship or the relation that you have with confinement. This could look like, you or someone else may have gone to jail or going to prison, and you're still holding on to, that past experience. That's no longer should be held over you. Whatever it was or whatever you did, you paid the price, you did your time, whatever this thing is around people in confined spaces, people with regards to hospitals and prisons, things of that nature, healing there. Now, this could also look like if you need to check yourself into a facility to get some help. This is the time when Chiron says we're supporting you to do that process, to free yourself from whatever this burden is that you are carrying on yourself. And a lot of times, again, our secrets keep us sick. Opening our mouths and just saying that this is what happened to me. I didn't deserve this. And I no longer will keep this secret to protect other people. And because other people don't want to deal with it. Okay? That's Taurus rising. Gemini rising, the healing should be coming from the area that governs your friendships. Okay? Whew. The people we call friends. So this is all about our friends, the social groups that we connect ourselves to, your long-term goals, dreams, and wishes. So this definitely blaringly says healing from any traumas, hurts, or indiscretions or betrayals that happen with regards to our friends. It's so hard for me being a Cancer sun to open and ask for help or be vulnerable with Sagittarius. I absolutely understand that. I absolutely understand that being a Cancer sun, it takes us a long time because we're the nurturers of the zodiac. So we're good at helping other people, but we are horrible at asking for help. Because for somewhere down the line, I think Cancers have this thing that to exhibit any kind of vulnerability is a sign of weakness. And one thing that we don't want to be looked at as weak. We don't want to be looked at as being a target. So it's hard for us to acknowledge or share with other people that we are in a space of need. Okay? But you have to get out of that. Yeah. You got to get out of that. That is going to kill you. I had to finally realize that. That will kill you. That will kill you physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. You have to let go of that. But Gemini, this is around the healing of your friendships and how you do friendships. Has there been a betrayal in regards to your friends? We have a stereotype of being too emotional. Oh yeah, our emotions kind of do go in and out, in and out. But typically our emotions are being, usually when we're going through those periods, it's because it's somebody else. It's somebody else. But yeah, healing that around your relationship with your friendships or people that you call friends. Maybe there was a betrayal of some sort, and it left you totally scarred. It left you scarred. It left you kind of weary of making friends or really connecting with people or opening yourself up to friendships. Healing that. Also, with regards to our long-term goals, dreams, and wishes, really identifying where it is that you could be self-sabotaging yourself with regards to your long-term goals. Let me tell you something. I used to do this thing where I would have a goal set for myself and I would be working towards it. And it felt like the closer I would get to completing it, the more that I would self-sabotage myself. I would do this thing where I would self-sabotage. And I finally had to really realize that sometimes a lot of people at times in our lives, we're afraid of success. I know it sounds crazy, but we're afraid of success. What if this thing that I'm doing actually works? We get fearful of, now if I do this thing and it works and I'm good at it, people are going to expect more from me. And I may not be able to deliver. So we start to doubt and we start to sabotage ourselves. This has a lot to do with Gemini risings and their long-term goals. Getting close to your goal and then you do something to sabotage it. So you'll be able to say, well, I knew that wasn't going to work out. I should have known that wasn't going to work. So healing around the self-sabotage of your long-term goals and healing around the dynamic of friendships. Yes, you probably had a bad experience with a friend or a friend group or how you did friendships, but that should not deter you from finding your tribe. This is about finding your tribe that you connect with. But you first have to acknowledge the wound that is left for you with regards to trusting people. And people that call themselves your friend, okay? Cancer risings or Cancer suns. This healing has to do with your 10th house of career, your public image, your standing in society, your reputation. Our father is in this house. And authority figures and masculine energy. So straight out the gate, we can talk about for Cancer risings or Cancer suns, and this has to do with my Cancer sun, is the dynamic and the healing of the relationship with the father or the father figure in your life. Ooh, child, I had to really, really work to get past this. And I don't know if I'm really past it, but acknowledging it. Our dynamic with our father. Now, sometimes people will think that because they had a father in the home, because he was physically present, that they had a good relationship with their father. Well, I hate to break it to you, but there are a lot of fathers in the household that are actually absent. Yeah, they're physically there, but emotionally and mentally and supportive. I wish I could screenshot today's conversation with the father figure in my life today. Hey, tell me to jump on this live. But again, just because the father is physically in the home does not mean he's present in the home. So we have to sometimes acknowledge that we did not get what we needed by way of our father. And that's a hard pill to swallow. My personal testimony is, unfortunately, I wasn't able to work those things out with my dad prior to him passing. So it kind of has left, I guess, a void, or sometimes it upsets me that I wasn't able to talk with him and understand why he wasn't in my life, what was going on with him. You know, I later found out that, and I think this gives me some level of comfort. My dad was still in high school when I was born. And I'm not giving him a pass or anything, because there's a lot of teenage fathers out there that step up. But he was in high school still. Yeah, exactly. He was still in high school when I was born. So, I mean, I have to kind of give him, I don't have to do anything. Let me rephrase that. I grant him some level of grace with regards to why he didn't step up as a father. He was a child. He was a child. He was in high school. He was a child. Now, do I just absolve him for the responsibility? Because, dude, you became an adult at some point, okay? No, because you became an adult later on, and you should have stepped up. But again, you have to understand sometimes with regards to relationships with parents, they can only give you what they have gotten from their parents. So, he didn't have the best relationship with his dad. His dad was absent. So he really couldn't give me anything by way of being a father. So you have a teenage boy having a baby that didn't have any father guidance himself. And then you give him a baby. What exactly he's supposed to do with that? You know. But I do believe that we've connected on a spiritual level. He's an ancestor of mine. He's on my ancestor altar, because I do appreciate the things and the traits that he did give me. He gave me damn good genes. I mean, like, really, really good genes. So I appreciate him for that. He also gave me the gift of speaking my truth and saying what the hell I have to say to whomever I need to say it to. And speaking my truth. Because one thing about him, he was always speak his truth. And I've also started to walk in the energy of him putting himself first. Because that was a selfish motherfucker. But he put himself first. So I'm now learning to walk vibrationally in the space of putting myself first. And I attribute that to him, and I appreciate that. But that's the types of things that Chiron will help you to contend with when you're healing the dynamics of the father relationship or lack thereof. That's a blessing to get the opportunity. I really wish my father would be open to that conversation. It's a process. It's a process. At some point, he might. A lot of times, parents have to have some type of something that happens with them, particularly with men. Men have to get a brush with death before they want to start opening up. So, you know, I'm not wishing that on your dad, but something has to really shift with them, that they feel like that their days are numbered, and then all of a sudden they want to open up and start connecting. I don't know what his thing would be, but it's typically like that. But I would say don't obsess over it. It'll come. Put it out to the universe that you want to have the conversation. You want to open up the lines of communication with him. Okay? But yeah, my Cancer risings, dealing with dynamics around healing the relationship or the wound that you have with your parent. Dealing with the wound of disappointment of career choices that you've made. Maybe you went into the wrong career, or maybe you didn't even go into the career that you thought you would be going into, or you just kind of fell short on it and you still feel guilty about the fact that you did not go, especially those Cancer risings that did not go into the field that they wanted to. This happens a lot with Cancer natives. They let their family influence a lot of their major life decisions early on. So you may have been one of those Cancer risings that wanted to go to beauty school and become a hairstylist, but your family told you that you needed to go to school and get a business degree and sit in the office, and you miserable as hell about it. Healing that Healing that area of your life with regards to lost opportunities or things that you didn't pursue but you wanted to, and you feel guilty with the fact that you allowed someone to influence you to go in another direction. Healing that. This is also about the area of our public image and how the general public feels or sees us or perceives us. Healing anything that has to do with how you feel that you were, what's the word I want to use? How you were seen in a certain way, maybe in school, in your neighborhood, with your peers, or whatever, and your reputation may have been less than stellar, and you still carry that hurt or that wound about being seen in a less favorable light. Child, fuck folks and how they see you. You know, we tie too much of our self-worth in how other people see us. I don't give two shits about what people think of me. I really don't. Now, is it important to me that I have good character? Absolutely. And it's very, very important to me that I have good character and that people, know that I am a person of good character. Yes, that's important to me. But I don't give two fucks how you think. Well, honestly, I don't really give two fucks what you feel about me or say about me or believe about me. I know who I am. I know who I am. And I know the people that know me know who I am. So I don't really give two shits about what people say about me. I don't. I really don't give a fuck. But I don't. But it's important to me. My integrity is important to me. My character is important to me. My word is important to me. So I try to, I'm not trying to prove anything to anyone. I just try to embody those things that are important to me. And I want to walk in that vibration. And people will see that. I don't have to prove anything. I'm not going out of my way to prove anything. How I operate in my life, the things that I say, my integrity, what my follow through, it will demonstrate who I am as a person. And that is the thing that needs to be healed with regards to Cancer risings. Or Cancer sun. Leo rising, Leo suns, we already talked about, because we talked about it at the top of this, because I'm a Leo rising. This has everything to do with the healing of how we do religion, how we do spirituality, the healing of those types of, that's the big area, with me in this ninth house. It's our belief system, how we see the world, what we believe to be true. Walking in our truth, because the ninth house is all about truth. Walking in our truth, not in somebody else's truth, not in the truth that someone has tried to put us in, but walking vibrationally in our truth, owning who we are and being proud of that and being happy with that, and not being swayed by what our belief system is, because it does not align with what society or family or friends think it should be. So that's because we already talked about that at the top of the live, that this is what Leo risings need to heal, is their relationship with religion, their relationship with spirituality, and their belief system around how they see the world. Okay? Virgo rising, Virgo sun, the healing comes in your 8th house. So you're working in from 2018 to 2026 on how you do intimate connections with people. Now, this is a house that governs sex, intimacy, shared resources, shared finances, things that we garner from another person or another entity, monies like child support, taxes, inheritances, things like that. First and foremost, the healing around sex. Oh my God. Sex is such a heavy thing. Heavy thing. This 8th house is also about taboo things. It's always hard for me to try to explain the 8th house. So I'm going to do the best that I can with it, because it's a house of mystery. It's a very hard house to describe. So let's start with sex. Healing around sex. Healing around Our idea of sex and how we look at it. This is the house of taboo things. So this is where we garner those proclivities that may be different from other people, or what mainstream society says is acceptable by way of sex. You need to heal with the fact that you're a freak. You like certain things. You like certain things done to you. You like to do certain things to people. As long as what it is that you like is not hurting you or another person in an adverse, harmful way, healing this whole idea of what is acceptable with regards to sex. Okay? That's your business, what you like. Okay? What you want to go on in your bedroom or wherever you want to do it, it is your business. Do not feel guilty. No longer feeling guilty about these carnal feelings that you have with regards to sex. And also with regards to intimacy, you know, the connection, because sex and intimacy are two different things. People try to put them together, but they're not the same. Sex is the physical act and intimacy is the connection with another person. So healing that. I lost my train of thought. Oh, this is also the area that governs the occult. Hold on. Yes?
Have you seen Hank?
No, she's not in here. Okay, I'm busy right now. She's not in here. This is the area that governs the occult. Now, this is a big thing because people get all nerved up when you talk about the occult. So we're looking at astrology, tarot, witchcraft, whatever you consider the occult, okay? It's a lot of witches out there that don't want to say they're witches. It's a lot of root workers out there that don't want to say they're root workers. It's a lot of people that's out there doing spells, doing astrology, doing all kinds of stuff. And they don't want to say it because of what their family going to think or their friends are going to think or people. Why do you care? Why? Why do you care? I am of divine belief that everything is of God. Okay? He has created everything. Now, He has created everything, and man chooses how they're going to use these gifts and tools that God has given us. Now, some people are going to use it in a way that benefits them, benefits the masses. It's in its purest form, and it's a wonderful thing. And there's other people that are going to use it for whatever they want to use it. That's their business. But if you have an inkling to something, astrology or witchcraft or whatever you want to do, embrace that. Heal that wound around being ashamed of what you like, whatever this thing is. Listen, we have gone through a panorama. We are currently in a recession. We're actually in a depression. The government just won't call it, okay? And now we got the whole monkey thing going on. I mean, we are experiencing all this kind of crazy stuff. The last thing that I would want to be worried about is what people think of me. The last thing I want to be worried about is what people think of me. Let me tell you something. I love astrology. I love root work. I do all of that stuff. It works for me. It works for me. It's put me in a really, really good space mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and damn it, it's put me in a good place financially. So I don't really care what nobody else says. So healing that shame around things that have to do with, you know, the areas of life that people like to keep hidden from other people. Now, you don't have to tell your business if you don't want to. I'm not saying you, and I'm saying you don't have to tell it because, you know, you're ashamed of it. That's your personal beliefs. I don't tell everything about me. There's a lot of stuff that I do I wouldn't share on here, but don't be afraid to dabble in which, you know, things that you're, again, if it's not hurting you and it's not hurting anyone else, heal that wound and move on. Okay? Libra rising, the healing comes in your one-on-one relationships. And funny enough, Libra does rule the 7th house. So This is all about one-on-one relationships, partnerships, romantic, marriage, business, legal proceedings. So this is the healing of how you do one-on-one relationships in any form. Again, this could be romantic, marriage, business, family. Healing the wound on how you do relationships. Do you know, again, we're going to talk about the fact that one bad experience with a relationship spills over, you bleed over into other relationships. I had a wonderful client the other day, and we were talking about, her relationship dynamic and how she does, or how she's currently doing a one-on-one relationship. And we got to the part of the reading where we talked about past experiences. And just long story short, she experienced some things later, in her life early on that have adversely affect how she does one-on-one relationships. And I explained to her that will continue to come out in your relationships until you deal with this trauma that happened to you. It's bleeding over in how you do one-on-one relationships. And you don't know why, the other person doesn't know why, but you're continuing to fight your partners. You're fighting this abuse you experience with your partner, and that's unfair. So Chiron is there to help you to heal your one-on-one relationships and how you do relationships, and knowing that the experience that you've had before is continuing to bleed over into every other area of your life, particularly in how you interact with other people. Now, let's just not put it on romantic. This could be family, this could be friends, this could be business, and how you relate to people in a one-on-one type of setting. How you're triggered by certain things in your one-on-one relationships, and you want to heal that. You want to heal that. If you want a healthy, functioning relationship, that's the first thing that I teach when I do my new service is how to manifest love. I don't know if y'all know that, but I got a new service in how to manifest love. I teach that you have to do self-love first. People think that you could just go out and I want to manifest a relationship, and I want to manifest a partner, and I want to manifest a one-on-one relationship. You don't even know how to love yourself. So how do you think that you can realistically, in a healthy way, love someone? So this is what the wound for Libra rising is, how you do one-on-one relationships. And the most important one-on-one relationship, I always say, is the first and primary one, is with yourself. So this may actually not even be healing how you deal with other people. This could be the dealing of healing with how you deal with the relationship with yourself. We are the worst partners to ourselves sometimes. We treat ourselves terribly, worse than any other person could ever treat us. So this may actually be a wound that you're healing with how you love and respect and honor yourself. Damn it, I'm starting to sound like a yellow Van Zandt. Oh my God. Okay, beloveds, come on, beloveds, let's do this. The next one we're going to talk about is Scorpio rising or Scorpio sun. The healing is coming to your health. Now, this is a big one for me because this is the 6th house of health and fitness, both mental and physical health. This is the house of our work environment. So this is the people that we work with, around, and for, in our actual workspace. Okay, beloved, this is also the areas that governs service to others. Okay. So the healing for my Scorpio risings, again, straight, just obvious reasons, is how you take care of yourself and your health and your physical body. This is also the 6th house that governs how we eat. So this is about how you're feeding your physical body. What is it you're putting in your body that is harming you, and you wanted to heal yourself? This is also about literally any physical ailments that you have about yourself that you need to heal. Now, we've talked about the physical body and the healing of that, but we are also talking about the healing of our minds, the most important thing. You do know that we manifest illnesses in our body. Illnesses in our body don't start in our body. They actually start in our minds. We manifest those things. We also make things grow with how we think. So this is the healing of our minds and how we are triggered, and we manifest physical ailments in our body. We have got to get the connection that the mind controls everything. People don't believe that. But everything starts here in the mind, in the brain. It starts here. So if you are consistently under stress and worry and confusion, depression and anxiety, where do you think all of that energy is going to go to? Where do you think it's going to go? It is going into your physical body, and it's affecting everything inside of you. So this is the child. It's just keep living. It's just too much going on here. So yeah, getting control of our thoughts, getting our minds in a healthy state, subsequently getting our bodies in a healthy state. So healing those obvious things about ourselves. Now, this is also the area that governs service to others. And when I look at this area on service to others, this is all about the balance or the imbalance of how you are being, how you're showing up for other people. Service to others, for me, straight up the gate, is like volunteering. But to go on a deeper level, we look at it as I'm helping other people. I'm showing up for other people. When someone says they need something, I show up. When someone says they need my assistance I show up. But when it's my turn, am I getting that back? Is it reciprocal? Now, it could be the vice versa. You could be the taker in these instances. You're always needing. Someone's always coming to help you, assist you, praise you, do for you. But when it's your turn to pay it back, pay it forward, or pay it back, you don't have that same type of energy. So healing around how we are in service to others and others that are in service to us, and making sure it's in a balanced way and it's not out of alignment. Yeah, there'll be times that you're going to have to show up for people more than they show up for you. But are those same people, when you need them, are they there for you? The healing around that with regards to how you are service of others, but most importantly, the healing of the mind and the physical body is what Chiron wants to do for you within this 7-year window, 2018 to 2026. Sagittarius rising or Sagittarius sun. This is the healing within the 5th house. So this looks like our romantic life or dating life, our children, or the children around us, or our inner child, procreation. This is where we get pregnant. Now, I know someone that is entering into a period of raising their children, and they have a child that's entering into those preteen years. And I told them, I warned them, I was looking at their personal chart, and I noticed that, Chiron is going through their 5th house. And I said to them, listen, you're about to get into a period where you're going to have to change how you parent. Adjust how, we're going to talk about pregnancy. Adjust how you parent, okay? So just be mindful of that, okay? And also, with regards to children, releasing and healing the guilt that you may feel for not being a perfect parent. First and foremost, there's no such thing as a perfect parent. They do not give any guidebooks on how to raise children. You do the best you can with what you got and what you got from your parents. And they did the best they could with what they got from their parents. We try to be better. Hello. We try to evolve, and we try to give our children more than we had. But releasing the guilt of not being able to be the parent that you feel like you want to be or you should be. Sometimes our expectations can be very, very unrealistic. And sometimes we don't realize children don't need much. They just want happy parents or a happy parent and a stable foundation, whatever that looks like. Children are very simple. They just want some structure, they want to be loved, and they know that you're going to be there. That's it. Everything else is a bonus. But you hit those, keep them healthy, put them in school, keep them fed, do the best you can. You do the best you can. As long as they are alive at the end of the day, that's the goal. The goal is that they're alive at the end of the day. Simple as that. But you have to release this guilt you feel about not parenting correctly or not being able to give your children everything that you think that they want. Most of the time what happens with parents that feel this kind of internal guilt is it's actually not the children. It's actually their inner child that has not been healed. I have 4, and it's tough keeping 4 individuals in alignment, but that guilt part. Are they alive at the end of the day? That's all you need to worry about. They're alive at the end of the day. But a lot of times people have guilt around their children and how they're raising their children is because their inner child has not been healed. Okay? And they're actually trying to give their children the upbringing that they felt like that they did not get. Okay? That's all we want to know. They're alive at the end of the day. So you're putting undue pressure on yourself to not only raise your inner child, but then try to raise these children that you brought into the world. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. You're going to drive yourself crazy, and you're going to drive them damn kids crazy because they're trying to figure out why the hell is you so crazy, and why are you putting this undue pressure on them and you. Children are very, very perceptive. They can pick up on vibrational energy. And so you create a nervous child with your nervous energy. So you have to just let it go. Let it go. This is also time to heal your inner child. So if there's still something that you're struggling with from childhood, this is the time for you to heal your inner child to help you become a better parent. I wish these sports parents would do some healing. Because y'all, I particularly see it with parents that did not fulfill, especially these men, that didn't fulfill their glory days of, them thinking that they were supposed to go to the NFL. Well, sir, first of all, you wasn't that good. You weren't that good. So let's heal that part, that you really weren't that good and you really wasn't going to the NFL like you thought. Okay? Simple as that. So now you transferred this craziness over to your child, okay? And let's be clear, he's not that good either. And there's nothing wrong with that. Everybody's child is not going to end up in the NBA or the NFL, okay? So we need to stop that. Stop transferring your shortcomings or things that you didn't fulfill onto your children. Heal your inner child. Accept the fact that you didn't do what you're supposed to do. Accept the fact that your glory days were in school. And it's over. Stop putting this pressure on these children and trying to make them into something they're not. Little Bobby is not going to be in the NBA. He's actually going to be in the band. And you know what? It's nothing wrong with that. And little Bobby actually may turn out to be a doctor or a lawyer or a garbage man or whatever. All you want to do is have healthy children that are happy. That's it. But this is all about healing the inner child, healing your guilt around what you perceive as poor parenting, which is probably not. This is also the area of, now let's talk about fertility. Because this gets heavy. And I've worked with a couple of clients with fertility issues, so I know what that energy feels like when you want to conceive a child and you're having difficulties or whatever that is. Chiron is there to help you heal yourself. sometimes we have to accept that our womb may not be able to carry children. Or, I'm not going to put this all on a woman. Maybe a man's sperm count is low and he just can't, you know, he doesn't have enough, his sperm count is not high enough to conceive children. Whatever it is, we have to start to heal ourselves with regards to the idea that fertility issues sometimes happen to people. And we have to heal that wound, heal that guilt, heal that feeling of loss around that. I remember working with a client of mine. Oh, she's about to have a baby this month too, and she had fertility issues. She's done a testimony on my website and everything, so you can go and read it. And we were trying to figure out. We were talking about why she couldn't carry to term, and we were talking about manifestation because she's really big into manifestation. So I was like, okay, well, let's talk about what you've been doing. And so we went over it. And she had given me she was very transparent about everything that had happened with her as a child, her upbringing, things that had happened within her family, the dynamic of her mother and all of this, and, you know, her subsequent numerous miscarriages and not being able to carry a baby to term. And that was very important because it was the carrying the baby to term. It was not about she couldn't get pregnant. It was about carrying the baby to term. So after a while, I told her, I said, first of all, your manifestation is off because she was trying to manifest getting pregnant. So she was putting a lot of her manifestation energy into, I want to get pregnant. You don't need to manifest getting pregnant. You don't have a problem with getting pregnant. So you're wasting your energy with trying to manifest getting pregnant. Your issue is you need to manifest being able to have a healthy womb to carry a child to term. That was the first thing that we needed to adjust, was that. So this is the healing of her, how she manifested this child into existence. She was carrying a lot of karmic energy. She was carrying a lot of things from childhood. I say in order for you to have a healthy womb, you have to address your childhood trauma. And it starts with far back as you can go. If your grandmother is still alive, you need to connect with her, because your grandmother, your mother, and you are carrying some kind of trauma in the womb. And you need to find out where this happened. So she started to do talking to her grandmother. And I said, when you talk to her as another woman. You don't talk to her as a grandmother. When you talk to your mother, you talk to her as another woman, not your mother. Because you want to know what has been her experience as a woman, particularly in this area around sex and carrying children. And she shared to me that she talked to her grandmother, and she did find out there was a lot of trauma around her grandmother's life. And it had a lot to do with how she parented her mother. And talking to her mother, that just kept going on. So it was generational. And she decided that she was going to stop that right now. So this is the Chiron helping her to heal generational curses, generational trauma that was keeping her from carrying a child, okay? And she did the work, and she changed her manifestation. She changed how she looked at becoming a parent. She opened up to the possibility that I may need to look at being a parent in a different way. She subsequently got a new IVF doctor that had an innovative way. He had a new way to do IVF. It was very forth. I think it was like in the experimental stages of this, that, and other. And I told her, try it. What is it? Try it. She is expecting her first baby in August. She's the second one. I had another lady with a similar experience, and we manifested that baby. So I've had 2 manifestation babies. But this was about the healing of your womb. This is the energy of Chiron, to heal your body and to heal how you relate to motherhood, and figuring out, okay, this is bigger than me not being able to carry a baby physically. Understanding that this is generational. A lot of times, infertility is generational. Everybody just ain't running around here having babies easily. So it's generational. You have to go back to the beginning as far as you can go to find out where was the breakdown, what happened, and figure out how this is impacting you. Okay? So that's my Sagittarius rising. Capricorn rising, this healing is around your family, the fourth house, family dynamics, the relationship with your mother. This is great because this is in a karmic house. The fourth house is a karmic house. This is great for you to start tracing your family tree. Tracing the family tree answers a lot of questions. It answers a lot of questions. Now, it may open the door to a lot more questions, but it answers the questions. So the healing of the family dynamics, you can start by tracing your family history, relationship with your mother, healing that. And even if it doesn't need to be healed, the connection, the getting to know, it's a great thing, especially when you have, because I think mother-daughters have a complex relationship. When you start to you get to a point in your life when your mother, you start to see her more as a woman, and you want to understand her experiences as a woman. And it definitely helped me heal my relationship with my mother when I started to talk to her woman to woman. Okay. When we got to the point where I had a lot of woman experiences that I could talk to her about, and she could share her experiences with me. That's tough absolutely it's tough when that happens. But that's when you start connecting with your ancestors. That's when we start the spiritual journey of connecting with our ancestors, because our loved ones never leave us. Yes, they leave us in the physical sense, and it is heartbreaking, but they are always with us. And that's when you start the reaching out and the connection with your ancestors, because again, they have to be invited in formally. Your ancestors are always around you. They're always wanting to help you, but they have to be invited in formally, and also they have to accept, because they don't always have to come through if they don't want to. But you start the process of reaching out to them. Okay, so this is all the healing of the family dynamics, the relationship with the mother, feminine energy around you. So that could be your sister, your aunt, whomever, And I don't like to put genders on it, so I'm just going to say feminine energy. Aquarius rising, this is going to be the healing of finding your voice, because this is in your communication house. So this is all about your message, your voice. And if you have been one of those Aquarius risings that feel like you are never being heard, or your thoughts or your opinions or your ideas are always being shut down or stifled, particularly those Aquarius rising's children that were always told to shut up, they talk too much. That is a very impactful thing with a child. A lot of times when you're an adult and you find that you don't really speak up for yourself, 9 times out of 10, you're a child that was told to shut up a lot and that you talk too much. And so that is still subconsciously in your head that you talk too much and nobody wants to hear anything you have to say. This is the healing around finding your voice, speaking your message, asking for what you want, and speaking your truth. This is also a healing around relationships with siblings. This is a good time to mend relationships with siblings. And when I say healing relationships with anybody, that doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to be like hugs and kisses and now we're on a Christmas list with each other and we're doing brunch every Sunday. No, sometimes the healing of the relationship is accepting the fact that I can't have an active relationship with you and I have to love you from a distance. That could be the healing of the relationships. So Aquarius rising and Aquarius sun is all about finding your voice, speaking your truth, speaking up for what you want, and being heard. That's very important, and healing around that. And finally, Pisces rising, Pisces suns. This healing is around how you do money. So this is the second house, how we earn our money, our self-worth, and value and material possessions. For me, with Pisces rising, this is all about your self-worth and healing your self-worth, healing how you value yourself, because this is the area that governs our value system. So how you value yourself. Have you been respecting yourself? Do you value yourself? It's one thing for people to value you, but it's another thing for you to value yourself. If you're not valuing yourself, you allow people just to walk all over you and just do whatever, you know. So finding value within yourself, particularly healing how you do relationship with money and material possessions. So Pisces risings, if you're having an unhealthy relationship, an unhealthy connection or dynamic with money, and this could look like you tie your self-worth to the amount of money that you have, or you tie your value to the things that you own, or you judge other people by what they have or don't have. This is the time for you to heal that unhealthy attachment with money and how it controls your emotions, how it controls your thoughts on what your self-worth and value is, and how you see it, and understanding that money is currency. It flows in and out, but it doesn't change your self-worth. If you are a good person, you're a good person with $1, or a good person with $1 million. It doesn't change who you are, and it doesn't change your value. Okay? So that's it. That is how we're using this Chiron energy in Aries to heal our wounds. Again, this energy will continue on until about June 2026. So we have a lot of time to do the work. I hope you guys have enjoyed this segment. Of course, it's always going to stay up on my Instagram. I will be putting the edited version on my YouTube channel. Go subscribe to my YouTube channel. I need y'all's help. Okay, now I'm asking y'all. I need y'all's help. I have been trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of this year. I have gotten up to 660. So I think I gained about 5 or 10 people within the last few days, and I truly, truly appreciate it. But the only way I'm going to get to 1,000 is with your support. Go over and thank you. Go over and check it out. Like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Visit my website. Go over there, click on there. Even if you don't get a reading, or if you don't buy anything, if you just go and click, it helps the engagement. So it gets my website seen a little bit faster when people Google certain services. So it does help out with the traffic on the website. I appreciate if you guys will do that. But if you are interested in a personal reading with me, please visit my website at www.melaningoddesslife.biz. I would love to work with you and love to talk to you. You guys have a great weekend. Great energy to you. Do the work. Do the healing. I send everybody positive vibes, and I will talk to you a little bit later. Bye-bye.